In the city, at the office, on the road, wherever he may be needed. Armed with a mower and a partially charged cell phone, one man aims to take on the world.
My name is Robert Chapman, and this is episode 3 of the newly revived WGDP, the world's greatest dad podcast. You know, there have been a few names that we've grown up with where we equate the name, the face, the voice to the narration of our daily lives. We've got news broadcasters, talking heads, sports reporters, play-by-play and color commentary personalities, millennials and younger. I'd argue a little older, but this is more specifically just for video game stuff. But millennials and younger have been exposed to these voices in video games. There are countless men and women, boys and girls, who know John Madden's voice long after his retirement from broadcasting in 2009 and then his passing in 2021. I bet you didn't know those dates. I bet the 2021 date you remember, John Madden passed away, but I bet you didn't think that 2009 nugget would be in there about it's been that long since he quit broadcasting. Might have made you blink a few times But his voice, his impact, and his legacy, not only on professional football, can still be felt today. You bring that massive scope in tighter, and you have those local people that have narrated portions of your local life living right here amongst you. Central Mississippi, where I am, we've got the likes of Howard Ballou, Scott Simmons, Wilson Stribling, David Hartman, who just recently retired, Walt Grayson, and of course, Bert Case. I know this is a dad podcast, but we can't miss out and leave out names like Maggie Wade, Megan West, and Melanie Christopher. One name that you may remember is the former WAPT sports director and my good friend, Ray Coleman. He's truly one of a kind. I had the chance to talk to him about his time in the news, about his current role as the director of communications with the VA, and his time as a dad. So I'm sitting here with probably one of the greatest people in the world. He's going to tell you that he's fairly humble, and he's going to dismiss it, but he's one of the greatest. He has awesome initials, by the way, RC. If I had initials, those are exactly the ones that I would have. But my really good friend, Ray Coleman, who is just, like I said, the greatest guy in the world. Ray, what have you been up to?
Man, scratching and surviving. Nah, man, just, living life, man, trying to enjoy it along the way. And try to brighten someone's day while you do it, man. That's what it's all about.
That's right. All right. So like I was saying earlier, my wife got on to me. She does a lot of quality control. We're going to put it like that. That's something we need to introduce into marriages, the wife's quality control. All right. So tell me who you are. Tell me about your family, your kid, age, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, man. I'm Ray. And for people who see me, that's all it is. I'm just Ray. I'm married to Brandy. Brandy and I have been together 20 years, man. We'll be celebrating our 15th year anniversary next month. And so it's been great. We have a 7-year-old, soon to be 8, and Landry, our only kid. He's the best, man. He's the best. He will keep you busy, but he also brings great perspective to life. And I know we're going to get into that, man, but he has been the perfect addition to my life. To kind of remind me of things as I grow, and I get into what we like to call middle age, old man age. He's helping me understand some things that I've kind of forgotten to keep me young at heart, man. So that's my crew. We have I don't even know how you describe her, chap, a rambunctious, unpredictable Beagle / Jack Russell named Star, who is probably the wildest small dog that I've ever seen, but again, she just brings more personality to the house, and so that's what you get when you come over into the Coleman household.
That's good. All right, let's jump right into it. So again, you're going in one and done with Landry, who is again a breath of fresh air. Tell me about your diaper skills. What kind of diaper skills you got rolling in there?
So I would like to really good diaper skills. I was blessed, man, just right off the bat, where my wife stayed at home with Landry all the way up until he went to Clinton Park Elementary. So he never went to daycare. He never had to do anything other than be with mom all day, every day. And so my diaper changing skills were literally after I got home from work. Mom took care of all of that. And so what I found is that it was easier than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
except for when you had those blowout moments. And I
Mm.
think every parent knows what I mean by that. I am not the blowout guy. I'll be honest with you. When that happens, I am easily handing that off to mom. But I like to say I'm available
Yeah.
to change any and all diapers. You just got to tap me in, or if I smell her and see it, I got it. No problem.
You ready to go? What about those newborn days? You remember back, 7, 8 years ago, teething and
Yeah.
feeding and all that. What do you remember about those days?
I remember sleep was a friend that I had, had at one point, but he or she was long gone.
Hmm.
And you just had to learn how to live off of 3 and 4 hours of sleep at a time.
That's right.
Um, feeding again was a good routine that we had just because Brandy breastfed Land, and so when he got up, she got up, I got up, so it was kind of like a me being a more supportive measure by being on standby mode and
That's
kind
right.
of rubbing a shoulder, asking, can I get anything, a towel or something like that. As he got older, and he started drinking from a bottle, that was easy for me again. I can remember like when my little sisters and cousins were babies, and you had to get the bottle and you had to put it in the pot with the boiling water, and then you had to check it on the hand. By the time Landry came around, the bottle warmer, so you could
Hmm.
add a little water and put it at the perfect temp. So it really made it easy for guys like me, man. I'll be honest. That part again to me was not really difficult. It was just making sure you had it ready before you heard the signs of anger and rage coming from that little toddler or newborn you had.
So speaking of those rage-filled evenings, how did y'all handle midnight wake-ups? Like I remember with us, like you said, going in with when mom was going to feed and you kind of just went in there. I remember waking
Yeah.
up at times and just going and laying on the ground, being like, "I'm here. I got nothing else, but here I am." How did y'all handle midnight wake-ups? Did y'all have kind of a routine or anything?
Yeah, it was more or less like I can go and get him just so she can kind of get prepped. I think sometimes I look at my wife as like a superwoman. Like she's very quiet, very humble, but in my brain, she can do it all. So sometimes she wouldn't even bother me. And then I felt bad if I'd wake up and see her feeding my kid, and I'm just over here like in la la land having my next, dream. So for me, it was more of like a concerted effort to just be involved how you can, whether that just be wake up, ask does she need towels, bibs. Um, do we have some milk that's already frozen that may need to be thawed out, warmed up, like in that space, without throwing off her routine. I always say when it came to Landry early on, she set the tone. So whatever the rules were and the routines were, it was just
Hmm.
my job to get on that and not be a hindrance.
That's right. It's like a pitcher with a no hitter. Don't mess it up.
Don't mess it up, man. Don't mess it up.
What about your morning routine? So kind of take me through when Landry was little, and then even now that he's in elementary school. What do morning
Yeah.
routines look like?
Little, him being a stay-at-home kid, there wasn't much prep work for me, because the idea of getting a kid dressed to get out the door at that age for daycare was never really an issue for me. It was just to make sure they had everything they needed before I hit the door, man. So we're talking about, making sure that any bottles that need to be prepped are done, clean some bottles from the night before, perhaps change a diaper or two before you get out the door, like those things, man. I was blessed to be in a household where the morning routine really didn't become a focal point until my kid got to Clinton Park to go to kindergarten. Now, when that happened, I made it a point, man, to be involved in terms of, as you know, Chap, my wife is an assistant teacher in the Clinton Public School District. So she has her own thing that she's got to kind of get her mind wrapped around in the morning. So for me, she doesn't deal with Landry in the mornings. Like that is the only thing that my wife really is going to handle is his lunch, because she knows like what they're serving, what he doesn't eat. And so she'll kind of make sure that he's either, hey, Landry, you're eating lunch at school, or I'm making your lunch. Um, Getting him up, making his breakfast, getting his clothes ready together, you know what I mean? Making sure he has on lotion,
Mm-hmm.
like all those little things that go into truly getting yourself together and getting up in the morning. That's me. And I just feel like that's the least I can do because my wife does such a great job with everything else that she doesn't need to put him in the morning. Plus, neither one of them are morning people. So if you get
Right.
them together, it's not the best situation for the household.
Yeah. No, I
So
feel you.
it's kind of my job to be like the middleman and say, all right, you little one, get over there. I got you, mom. You stay on this side And then by the time they walk out the door, because it's a 30-minute drive for them. We don't live in Clinton, so it's like a 30-minute drive to get them over there. We want to make sure that they can get out the door early, and that there is no frustration as they leave. So for me, it's just being, like I said, that partner who is available to eliminate the kid from her list until she has to be with him on that ride to school.
Yeah, I like that. I like dad showing son how to get ready in the morning. There's some things you got to take
Yes,
care of. I like that.
no
What
question,
about
no
bedtime
question.
routine at night? Like when is there a routine again when he was little, and then now
Yep,
what is that process? Because it's shifting in our house now. It's
it
everybody
is.
goes to bed by themselves, and it's like, all right, I'll see you all in the morning. Wake up, please. I'll see you then. But when
Yeah.
when they're young and they're elementary, what does that bedtime routine look like at your house?
Bedtime routine when he was a kid, man, I wish, and I do mean, I wish he had a bedtime routine when he was a little one. It was just, man, there would be some nights I would go to bed before Landry, just simply because he didn't have a routine of expectation to get up to go to daycare, right? So he
Mhm.
was just at home. He slept when he slept. He woke up when he woke up. Just a true luxury for the kid. He won't understand it until he's older how good he had it to be able to like just wake up. And when he woke up, mom was teaching him. We always say Blippy helped teach him. That's an old YouTube character for folks. He's kind of like the old school Miss Rachel. I like to tell
That's
people like
right.
he taught my kids so much, right? Um, Bedtime routine back then was just manage to get him down some way. And so for me as a dad, you know how it is, man. Just wear him out.
Mhm.
Wrestling moves, running through the house, driving my wife nuts to where she's about to yell at both of us, but to kind of burn that energy off, right? And we talked about like the bedtime routine of showering and bathing and getting him ready. We kind of split that when he was younger. Well, Landry's 7 now. He handles the bed, the shower routine to prep himself for bed one on one. So he just takes care of that. He's a big boy now, so we let him knock that out. My job is to make sure that he's in bed by a certain time, and he knows with me, we're always going to say prayer before bed. That's kind of like a thing that to me sets the tone for helping him sleep well, his mind right for the next. He and I, we're going to pray a great prayer to start the week. We're also going to pray every night just to thank God for all the things that we have and the gifts that we have and the love that we have for one another in this household. Prayer time for us is pretty serious when it comes to nighttime routine for sure.
What are some of your fondest memories of being a dad so far in the last almost decade?
Wow, man. Dude, I'd like to say everything. And I like a vague response, but it really is, man. I knew early on, even when Andrew was here, I knew one that I wanted to be a dad, and two that while I was afraid of like the things that would come about and how I would provide and like teach, there was something in me that knew I was gonna be like a good dad. I don't say that I'm the greatest dad of all time, even though I'm here on the World Dad podcast.
Yeah,
Um,
which is odd
I
because
do.
the longer we do this, the more we realize there is no world's greatest dad. We're all just here
But it's true.
surviving.
It's it's true, man. I've had so many people like tell me this, and it's no shot at them, but it's the thing that I always said that I wanted to do: be present.
Mhm.
I always, always, always wanted to be present. So the way that I look at it, Landry and Brandy have all of this time that is kind of naturally built in to be together. So they lived at home. Mom was a stay-at-home mom. She taught the kids, she fed the kids. So they have all of this built-in time where they get to bond and form a true relationship. They go to Clinton Park together, his first 2 years. So dad has to kind of fit in to their world if you think about it. And that's no problem. But for me, anytime that I'm home, I want to make sure that my kid, one, knows that I'm available, that like I'm never too busy for him. I don't care what I got going on. He has to know that I'm available to him. And so some of my fondest memories, man, are just playing video games with the kid. Because I'm still a kid at heart. I do play video games. And the fact that he likes them now too is perfect. So we can get into that together. Watching him grow as he plays the piano, man, is one of my favorite things. This kid blows my mind how fast he can learn songs and play them back to you. Watching him now engage in sports with his friends and like watch his friendships grow. I was so worried that my kid, being a stay-at-home kid, was not going to be able to grow those social skills early on to like make those friendships and relationships last. And I'm watching him just kind of blossom into this kid who's not afraid to make and keep friends through altercations with friends and come back and be friends the next day. So to me, those are some of my most fondest memories. I know you could say vacations and all of this stuff. It's just the day to day, man. Watching my kid make us laugh,
Yeah.
watching his sense of humor. Like those are the things to me every day that like make me so grateful that Landry is my kid.
What would you say are some of the toughest memories that you remember?
Oh, dude, I cried like a baby. I'm telling you, like a baby when Landry went to school for the first time. When he stepped away from this house where he has been, I know, protected, like
Mhm.
literally in my own domicile, protected with his mom every day for 5 years, I thought to myself, I am sending this kid out into this world where he won't even see his mama every day like he's used to, and have I equipped him to be ready. And so, man,
Yeah.
you can ask anybody that works with me. When they saw me that morning, my eyes were red. Um, you know, the shaky voice when you're talking. I was all of that. I was a mess. So that's one thing that stands out. Anytime your kid, me at least, anytime my kid is sick, dude, I wish I could like take that illness and put it inside of
Mhm.
my body so he does anything from a common cold to like little surgeries that he's had for like his adenoids,
Mhm.
anything you can think of. I wish I could have taken that pain from him and just kind of absorbed it, but that's life. You know what I mean? Like your kid has to go through difficult things. Um, I'll never forget my kid came home crying one night, and he waited until he got home. He didn't cry at the baseball game, but he talked about guys on the team who were, kind of just call it for what it is. They were very rude to him. Like one kid called him stupid. One kid, I guess was kind of not pleased with Landry's performance. He didn't cry about it at the game, but he came home and he just kind of fell into my arms and like, man, as a dad, you want to tell your kid like, man, everything's gonna be all right, and you want to give him all these taglines, but in that moment, none of that matters to him.
Mhm.
He's just experiencing heartache for something that he doesn't understand, like why it can happen. So I had to go through the whole deal of like, man, everybody's not gonna like you. Sometimes people are just not gonna understand you. Um, that has nothing to do with you. How people feel about you in this world, especially outside of this household, has nothing to do with you. You treat people the right way, you stand on who you are, that is good enough for us, right? You can look yourself in the mirror. Um, all of that sounds good, chat, but as you know, in that moment, it sucks.
Oh
And
yeah.
so it broke me. It broke me. But what I loved about it, my kid is resilient because the next time he was out there, one, he didn't hold it against those young men who
Right.
said that. To me, that was a moment for me where I'm like, okay, he gets it. Like, right, we shake it off, and we don't hold grudges against people. We don't judge people for like a moment in weakness.
Mhm.
That was perfect. So to watch him rise above that, like, okay, yes, I'm teaching him good things, but also this kid has some good stuff in him as well
Yep.
already. He's gonna be just fine.
Yeah, he's growing. It's strength is in the struggle. We say that all the time at the
Yep.
house. Whenever it's bad, it's
Yep.
fine. Where can you grow? I like that. All right. What do you think are some of the most challenging aspects of life that are facing dads today?
Wow. Um, I would imagine it is the same for every dad, and every good parent. Time.
Yeah.
I always say I wish there was more time. I look at my boy and I'm like, where did the time go? I wish I had more time to do this with him. Even in all the great moments and memories that we're creating, I just want more time. So time management is crucial. Man, I know the world is pulling us in so many different directions with after school activities, sports, streaming, all sorts of entertainment, video games, their friends, right? You name it, like the activities that we have as adults that we might want to do. God forbid you want to spend some time with your
Hmm.
wife. Time management I have found is crucial. But what I've also learned is if I prioritize my wife and my kid, the other stuff will line up, right?
Yep.
It is frustrating some days. It really is. When you look at the schedule and you're like, oh, we got piano, baseball, and everything else under the sun today, right? Like that is overwhelming. But remember what it's for. The activities don't come without the people.
Right.
So if the people are, for lack of a better term, if they're struggling because of the overwhelmingness of the activity, then do we really need the activity?
Right.
Like for me, I always ask my kid, do you want to do this? The only thing that is non-negotiable in my household in terms of extracurricular activity is the piano, because I know God has gifted my kid in that, and I'm not gonna let him quit. Like that's the only thing though. When it comes to sports and hanging out with friends and stuff, like, do you want to do it? Because if you don't want to do it, you have a choice. I want my kid to know, like, very early on, you can ask why, you can have a choice, because when you get older, all of those things matter. Um, I know a lot of times we say kids are to be seen and not heard, but I just feel like even in this little body, they have a big brain. They have big questions and they have big thoughts. So you got to let them express themselves. And if it's something that they don't want to do, if they give you good reason, that's worth the discussion. So time management, man, is so important for the adult, because the adult is going to pass on that time management strategy to their kid. And I think that's just paramount.
So you as the dad, you've got a great family, you've got a great history, you come from a very strong group of people. What are some of the things that you feel are your responsibility to teach and to pass on?
Yeah, in my house, our faith. That's the first thing that I pass on to anybody in this house. And anybody who stops by this house and you spend enough time, you're probably going to hear me say something, hopefully, that lets you know like what kind of household we are. And we are a God-fearing, Christ-following household. And so for me, I am so serious about passing that on to Landry. Now, I'm not a hellfire and brimstone type of guy. I'm here to let him know that God is compassionate and gracious, right? Like how I look at him, I tell him all the time, dude, you know how much I love you. I tell you out loud in public and embarrass you about it. You're 7 years old. If I'm still around and you're 57, I'm going to be kissing you just like I do right now. I do not care. So if I love you that much, imagine how much more God loves you. You know what I mean? So I instill that in him very early on. So that's the first thing. The second thing I want my kid to know is you got to stand up for yourself. In this world, if you don't speak up for yourself, people will speak for you and give you your opinion on something. That is not acceptable in our household, which is why I'm so serious about letting him speak up now. If he can be confident enough to speak up to his father, the old man, surely he can speak up when he's at school when it's something that he doesn't feel comfortable doing, or if he's being faced with an adverse situation. Man, you speak up. Now that's very scary for a kid my age, just like with your kids. That's a very scary thing to do, but the more they feel great about doing it, the harder it is for someone to push them off their boundaries. You know what I mean? So like
Yeah.
for me, I'm just teaching them very early on, it is okay for you to speak up. And then the third thing, man, be kind. Be kind. Christ asks us to love one another, love thy neighbor. And that goes beyond just the person outside the door. If you have to ask who's my neighbor, it's probably the person that you're probably having a little bit of tension with, that group you're having a little bit of tension with. That's the next step, not the people who you agree with and like all the time. The next step, right? So, and that's a teaching lesson for myself. So as I teach him that, I also have to set the example of that. So is he learning something that he ain't seeing in his dad? I gotta show him. So those are the three most important things to me for my kid, man, and helping him understand how to navigate this life.
I really like that. All right, last of the 10 questions we got going on. How do you handle you mentioned earlier about, heaven forbid you go on a date with your wife. How do you handle those nights to where other stuff, date night, workouts,
Yeah.
guys night, travel, sports? I mean, sports is a massive part of your life. How do you handle those with a priority and still kind of be present?
Man, I'm doing, at least trying to do my part in making sure that like any type of date night or one-on-one interaction with my wife remains. You know how it is, man. I have one, so I can only imagine what it's like for people who have multiple kids. Giving your wife that one-on-one time is so important. My wife, God bless her, man, she deals with other people's kids all day long and trying to elevate their minds, and just dealing with the madness of being a kindergarten teacher.
Mm-hmm.
So when she comes home, I don't want her to feel really any level of stress. I mean, obviously stress is a part of life. You just got to learn how to manage it. But I want her to know, one, that she's home and she can let that go. Two, that she has my attention even in the midst of the madness, if you need me to lock eyes with you and lock in with you, call my name, like stop me in what I'm doing. And just like I told you with my kid, she's got to know that I can drop it and give full attention to her.
Mhm.
We try to be intentional about like watching TV shows together. It is extremely hard to go out to dinner, y'all. I'll be honest, because my kid is glued to his mama. He is a mama's boy. So if I'm trying to take her somewhere without him, he
Mhm.
don't like it. He does not like it. And so it's a situation where you have to explain to him like, hey man, just like you and I can go and do things together without mom and she doesn't interrupt us, we got to give mom that same appreciation to just go with her. You know what I mean? So like that, whether it be date night with my wife, I went and hung out with some of my best friends last Friday just to catch up, just for an hour or two, just to catch up. Like those things are still going to make us better individuals so we can be
Mhm.
better dads when we come
Mhm.
back home. We have to have those outlets for sure.
That's good. All right, so your early days, you were quite the fixture on Channel 16 WAPT, where you created the Blitz 16, the brand that we know still to this day. It still kind of shows up, and I think that's one of Ray's legacies. This was before fatherhood, and it had to have been a time where you learned. We were talking about time management, something you learned there, and everything that kind of came with putting together packages and reports all in front of people. Tell me about your time as a sports director there and how that job, the experiences you had, the people, the relationships, how it helped shape you into the person you are today and the professional you are today.
Yeah, man. The way that I describe, the television business to anybody, that it's a grind. That's kind of how I look at it. And if you are not managed well in time and intensity, it'll chew you up and spit you out. That's the grind. It truly is. Now, once you figure out like your routine, your strengths and your weaknesses in that game, man, you can go a long way. And for me, I was oh so passionate about telling the stories of our state, whether it be high school, college, whatever pro players that we had, and in different leagues, and even little small hometown stories. That was my passion that kept me going. And so you understood your time. Like for me, I knew that if I didn't make deadline, everybody would know it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a little bit different than I don't want to say a typical 9 to 5 because everybody's 9 to 5 to me is typical, right? But I will say that if I did not make deadline or do a good job, it was shown. The product was shown every single day, twice a day at least, and so you knew that you had to be on point at all times. That for me has translated over into my non-TV life now, to where those tools of kind of get it and go quickly, but make sure that it's under control and a great product, that has helped me in my day-to-day life. Now I don't have to move as fast as I used to
Mm-hmm.
anymore, but it is nice to know that I have taken those tools and really just refined them and kind of tailored them to my day-to-day life now and my job of communications and state government. And really in my day-to-day life, man, understand that anything that I do, whether it be freelance or um, doing little spot jobs here and there, that it helps that I know how to get something done quickly, and how to get it done quickly, but also make it a great product.
Yeah, so you talk about working in state government. You're currently the director of communications with the VA. You get to meet so many of our wonderful veterans who have served our country and continue to encourage the people that they come into contact with to this day. They are some
Yeah.
older individuals, but they have some really, really, really powerful stories that can impact us 40-year-olds and then even those all the way down to their 20s and their teens. How have you been encouraged and blessed simply by being around these veterans on a daily basis?
The blessing part is easy, man. Listening to their stories, they're unlike any other. It's like I tell folks, the best way for me to describe it, we have veterans in our veterans' homes. We have 5 throughout the state of Mississippi, and they have served from World War II all the way up to Operation Enduring Freedom, believe it or not, because you'll have some younger veterans who have suffered some pretty serious injuries, and they just need our long-term care, and
Mhm.
that's what we're there for. Their stories. The way that I describe it to people is if we read it in the history books, they actually lived it. So you meet a World War II veteran, a Korean War veteran, a Vietnam veteran, you get that 30,000-foot view from a textbook. Well, they have the first hand account. And it's unlike any other, man. I have met gentlemen who were shot at, during Iwo Jima, stormed the beaches of Normandy, like all of those movies that we've seen, Band of Brothers, Saving Private Ryan. I've met some of those guys, man, and it's humbling, but it's also inspiring because even though I'm meeting them much later in life, these were young men,
Yeah.
like younger than us in their 20s.
Hmm.
Some forging signatures because they knew that they couldn't get in the armed forces without lying about their age. Like these are the brave men that we talk about. And I say men just because, a lot of our veterans, over 95% of them in our home are men. And so those are really like the ones that I come into contact with on a regular basis. But their stories, man, are second to none. And then a bond with some of these guys, like you don't realize how much you have kind of connected with a guy until they pass away and move on, right? And then you realize, like, oh man, I really miss this person. Or I enjoy talking to this person whenever I visited a home. There's one gentleman that stands out in my mind in particular, Mr. Pernellis Turner. He was one of the oldest residents that we ever had in our home system. He passed away last year. 104 years old, World War veteran, African American, grew up during the Great Depression, poor in Southwest Texas. Those are his words, not mine. He went on to serve in World War II, stormed the beach of Normandy, but as a black man at the time, segregated armed forces, right? So he was not removed from the beach of Normandy after everything that you would imagine went down. He had to sleep there until there was another transport that carried the people of color. And he said he could remember planes flying over him. Is this a bombing plane or is this a rescue plane? He just remember praying all night that he would just, live to see the next day. Out of that, he went from, the beach of Normandy to visiting all of France, right? After his service, he moved to New York, saw Jackie Robinson play for the Dodgers, saw Jim Brown play when the Browns came to New York, right? Had all of these great experiences, um, came back to become, a leader in his church and a leader in his city. And you think about the life that this man lived, and he's just as humble as can be. Like
Yeah.
I'm telling him how amazing these stories are, and he's kind of looking at it like not even really a day at the just as something that he was supposed to do.
Right.
And because of that life, it led to other different things that gave him an opportunity to experience like these wow moments that we only read about and see in movies. So I tell people all the time, man, I run into real life action heroes every day. They won't call themselves that, but
Hmm.
I'm just telling you, they are real.
So you get to meet some really awesome people. You said they're real life superheroes, but you've got a pretty famous son yourself. Next Generation is really kind of going forward. He has been featured in several television commercials. He was even in one in the Super Bowl, if I recall. That was it last year before. Uh, one
Yeah,
of
it was
those.
last year. It was
Yes,
last
last
year,
year.
man. It was super cool experience. Yeah.
How did you and your wife decide that
So
this was a path that y'all wanted to go down and you were comfortable with making this journey?
yeah, Chap, the way that I looked at it was I've always said I want to give my kid opportunities that I didn't even know existed for me when I was a kid. I grew up in a small town, Port Gibson, Mississippi. And so those opportunities, like, I don't even want to say they were few and far in between. It's just I never knew those things existed. I saw commercials, but nobody ever told me how to reach that. I saw movie sets, documentaries, but I never knew like what was the possibility of someone achieving that goal, right? So for me, I always said I just want to give my kid opportunities. If he doesn't want to do them, that's different. But I always want to provide an opportunity for him to do something that he may not even be thinking of as a possibility. So my wife, again, all credit goes to her. She, while she was, raising him at home, teaching him at home, she saw opportunities for like modeling gigs, small time extra parts in movies. And so she just created a profile one day, like, what the heck? I got a cute kid. We, yeah, that's kind of her thing. Like, we have a cute kid. Let's see what happens. Well, the first thing he ever did was just a small role, like blink if you miss it, 5 seconds in a movie called Heart of a Lion. It's the biopic on George Foreman. And so he plays George Foreman's son, well, one of George Foreman's sons. He's got like 12.
Yeah.
And so that was like his first taste of it. But I'll never forget him coming home. I think he was like 3 at the time, man. And he came home. He was like, I went to a hotel. They put me on a party bus. And he's talking just like this. They put me on a party bus. And so he felt like it was just this big thing for him. So his eyes were already open to, oh man, this is really cool. And so from there, we got him with an ad agency. And they hooked him up with a couple of commercial spots. And then along came the Super Bowl commercial, which we didn't know was a Super Bowl commercial at the time. We just knew it was being filmed in New Orleans with this well-respected, group, but we had no clue what it was until we got there. And I think we were more excited than he was because I don't think he truly believed there was going to be a Super Bowl commercial.
Yeah.
But I'll never forget, dude, when it aired. It actually aired during the conference championship weekend. So not the Super Bowl weekend. It did air Super Bowl, but the first time, I guess, was like a soft launch. And we were all on the couch and we were kind of like just falling asleep. It was in between the first and second games, the AFC and NFC championship. We were falling asleep on the couch. And I remember hearing Demario Davis's voice from the New Orleans Saints, now New York Jets. He was a part of that commercial and my eyes popped open. And as soon as it did, I'm like, yo, y'all got to wake up. And we see my kid. And so for him, like seeing himself in the movie was one thing, but he was truly like still a baby.
Yeah.
But him remembering he shot this thing, but then he saw it on TV, it showed him, man, like anything is possible for him, right? You got to work. You have to be available. You have to believe in yourself and like convert this thing so you can, be picked to be a part of this amazing, amazing experience. But now he's seen that. And so now, again, with a kid, I think it's like this for adults too, but definitely with kids. If they see it and they see like a conversion of it, they start to believe in themselves. So now he has an expectation that these things can happen for him. And that's all I ever wanted, man. It's not about my kid becoming like a movie star. For me, I don't have that desire for him. I have a desire that God leads him into wherever he needs to be. But if that desire is that, or whatever that desire is, I want him to believe that he can do it. And so this is just one of those small things along Landry's journey that I always tell him, like, dude, you can do it. You have to put in the work. You have to believe in yourself, but God is going to give you gifts along this route that we call life that you have to like push forward, and you just watch where it sends you, man. I truly believe my kid is going to make an impact on this world. I think we all can, but I truly believe that he will, because it's already being shown to him right now that truly the sky's the limit for him.
Yeah, I like that. Kind of going back into a sports metaphor, if you've got so many times where a team will, going back to the Saints, not get a call their way, and so they lose the game because the passing interference wasn't called, or somebody didn't make a tackle, or you're a Florida quarterback and you run out of bounds instead of doing what you're supposed to and get the first down, whatever it is. And a lot of people will say, well, it was that one play. It's never that one play. It's always a culmination of things that get you to that point. And so I think when we look at our own children and think, my child is going to change the world, we know that because there have been the little bitty things that they've done throughout life that have impacted us as parents, but we love getting to share that with other people. And then in a good community, we love getting to share that with other parents and watch their kids do great things, because their kids, we talk all the time, be a sponge. Your kid gives to my kid, and my kid soaks it up to be a better person, and then it's just paid forward and backwards, all just like that all the time.
And the other thing that I'll add to that, Chap, I'll always tell him, and I just feel like this for all youth, you know what I mean? Like, you have to give yourself opportunities to achieve things without anybody's help. Yep. Now, sure, my wife kind of helped get this ball rolling, but now with these auditions, really doesn't have anything to do with us, right? And definitely when we get on set, these are your own gifts and talents that are shining. So if you can show one of these little ones, one of these younger kids, that they can achieve something on their own, imagine the confidence level that they have when they go into a real situation that requires a little bit of adversity, right? Now they feel more confident that they can handle that without mom and dad kind of helicoptering over them and bailing them out. They can take care of business on their own. And that's ultimately what you want for your child.
Yep. I love it. I can't not mention the fact that you handle our play-by-play here in Clinton. You know, bill paying job. I work for the school district, but you handle the play-by-play for the Clinton Harris football team, and it's something that I get to experience every year, get to be a part of. On top of that, you've also handled some of the calls for the high school basketball, MHSAA basketball tournament over the past few years as well. You've seen some amazing athletic performances, some games that just stick into people's minds, some players that are destined for great things, have even gone on to great things. What are some of the memories that kind of stand out to you from your time of being a play-by-play personality?
First and foremost, that's my gift. My wife will say I talk too much. That's what she says my gift is. But
Your
this is
wife says
truly
that
my
too?
gift.
Wow, mine
Yeah.
must have stolen that from her.
You know how it is, man. So like broadcasting is my gift. It comes honest, it comes easy. And so for me, I never want to turn that off. Even though I'm not working full time in broadcasting anymore, that is truly what I'm able to do without even thinking. So that's why I do it, all the time. And it's very easy for me and it's very fulfilling. Some of my fondest memories, man, of just broadcasting games are just honestly, it's the communities. So while most people think about the players, and I do, don't get me wrong, I've covered some amazing, amazing players throughout the 20 plus years that I've been broadcasting, but I more so remember the communities that come to support these players. So if you talk about, any high school championship game at the Big House of Mississippi Coliseum, while people will remember the players and the performances, I remember how they pack out the Coliseum and how loud it is where I can't hear the person next to me while I'm broadcasting. I think about Clinton and so many great players that have come through, but the families that have produced these players, one or two players sometimes, right? And so I think about the overwhelming support that a community like Clinton has, or Tupelo has, or South Panola has that makes these programs successful. You might have a once in a lifetime generational player come through your program, like a Cam Akers for Clinton. But more often than not, you're going to have to get it done with just young men and women that grow up in your community that maybe don't go play in the pros, but they may play some JUCO ball or Division One ball. But while they're in your community, they make a difference to where you never forget them.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe Tupelo doesn't know, the Clinton community and their players like that, but the Clinton community does. And so for me, that's always been my favorite part, man. Getting to know players, getting to know their families, and those are like the true legacies that are left behind when it's all said and done. Championship moments are great. Don't get me wrong. Buzzer beaters, Hail Marys, all of that stuff is cool. But the things that I remember most are the reactions from those moments, how people are in tears when their team wins or loses on a Friday night. Happy tears or sad tears.
Yeah.
Those are the things that always stand out to me.
You got any predictions for MHSAA football coming up down the road? 7A is going to be stacked as usual, but 6A and 5A and 4A, my goodness, last year was so much fun in all the levels. You got any predictions this year?
You know what's fun for me, man? I've been doing this a long, long time, and this may be the first time that like dang near everyone on the Mississippi Gulf Coast is more than legit.
Yeah.
Like, man, when you talk about those programs right there on the Gulf, it is crazy how quickly they have ascended to the who's who, especially in 7A. They have ascended to a level now where it's like, oh, they have an opportunity to win a state championship. Now, everybody's going to have to go through Tupelo and Oxford, just my personal opinion, including us. But that's going to be exciting to see as well. And when you get down to like some of those, I don't want to say smaller classifications, but lower than 7A, I think Grenada is building or has already built a powerhouse now. I really do. I think what they're doing out there compared to what they used to be when we first started playing them to who they are now, man, they can line up and play against anybody. So I'm excited as a fan, first and foremost, to watch these things play out. But we have some programs now that have kind of changed the scale and landscape of what to expect here in the Magnolia State when it comes to high school football.
Yeah, you're not wrong. I think it's going to be a blast, and then it's only going to give into basketball and soccer, and then baseball and softball. So it's going to be a fun year. School season and school session always brings in a lot of fun. Well, Ray, I can't appreciate and express to you how much I appreciate your time, sharing some of your wisdom, and then just getting to be your friend. It's something I always say. One day, we're going to be gone, and I'm going to make sure the people in my life know how I feel about them. I'm thankful that I have you in my life, and I'm very thankful that you agreed to be on my little podcast here.
Man, this is awesome. It's perfect, by the way. I think we need what you're doing, which is why you should be hosting and the creator of this world's greatest dad podcast. Because one, you're a great dad, you're a great human being, but you don't mind telling the stories of others, and that's what it's all about. Like, yes, we can put the spotlight on ourselves, but Christ asked us to help people along the way, man. And that's what you're doing. You're putting a spotlight on great men. And there's so many great dads out there, dude. Moms are awesome. Don't get it twisted. Moms are awesome, right? But dads, we play such a vital role in the household. So many different roles. So don't forget your value, man, what you bring to the house. Don't be bullish about it, but also take great pride in what you're doing in your household, because you're going to change things. Not just maintain things. I truly believe great dads, we change things. So, Chap, you keep doing what you're doing, man. You know how I feel about you. I love you, brother. You're a great man. Keep doing what you're doing.
Appreciate it. Talk to you later.
I catch you, man.
Ray truly is one of my favorite people. He's got wisdom beyond his years, insight into so many aspects of life, and a wild capability to offer narration to life as it happens. Even though he is a Dallas Cowboys fan, he is a great one nonetheless. And it shows his loyalty, right? Like, he's going to ride that Dallas train through the thick and thin, and more of the thin and more of the constant thin. I'm truly thankful for Ray's time and his constant encouragement. Man, he's a fan of my creative outlets and a fan of others as well. He doesn't miss a chance to encourage anyone and everyone he comes across. That's a big deal in my book. If you've got a cool dad, or even just a normal dad, who would be a great and wonderful person to talk things out right here on this podcast, let me know. Send me an email at therobertchapman@gmail.com, or send me a direct message on all of our social media outlets. You can find us on Facebook and Instagram at WGD Pod. Thanks for visiting. We will be back with more WGDP, the world's greatest podcast, next week. I can't thank again those who have been on the resurgence and those who are looking for more. Hope you have a great day.